Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday, March 11th, 2025 Falls Township Zoning Hearing Board. If you can, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Get started with some introductions. To my right, we have the Zoning Hearing Board Solicitor Keith Bidleymeyer, Karen Browndorf as the court stenographer. From the Township tonight, we have Matt Dekita and Diane Barry, and Ed Neubauer is on Zoom. And board members present tonight is Nastasha Raisley, Chris Kilmer, Aaron Mackey, and myself. Petition number 1, we have Waste Gas Fabricating Company Incorporated, located at 450 Newbold Road, Fairless Hills, PA 19030, tax map parcel 13028088002, zone PIP, requesting the following variances from section 209-28F and table 5 to permit an impervious surface coverage of 75%, and section 209-28G to permit parking spaces to be located up to 15 feet into the ultimate right-of-way. If you can, please come to the podium to be sworn in.
I do. Kyle David Kloman, C-L-O-M-A-N.
Welcome, Kyle. You can begin with your presentation. I'm sorry. I'm going to hand it off to the Zoning Hearing Board Solicitor.
Mr. Chairman, if we can mark some exhibits real quickly. The application for zoning owner's appeal will be ZHB 1. 2 will be the proof of publication of the Bucks County Courier Times showing this matter was published February 25th and then again March 4th, 2025. 3 will be notification to the applicant's attorney providing notice of tonight's meeting. 4 will be proof that the property was posted as required. 5 will be plans submitted by the applicant in regards to this petition. Mr. Sacco, applicant's attorney, previously sent me the affidavit of service to the adjoining or abutting property owners. We'll mark that as A1, and we'll also mark as A2 for applicant 2 an extension letter sent from Mr. Sacco sent to Falls Township for the February meeting, continuing this matter till tonight. That's all the exhibits. I'm satisfied. The appropriate notice have been satisfied. This matter can proceed.
Thank you. You may be good.
Thank you for seeing us tonight. My name is Kyle Kloman. I'm the Chairman CEO of Waste Gas. I'm here representing our 123 employee owners. Normally, I would have Mr. Sacco on this side of me, making sure I don't say anything wrong, but he is tied up with a Tullytown meeting this evening as solicitor, so I brought her along Rachel Butch, our engineer. So if you have any technical questions, I'm going to refer you to her away from me. But Waste Gas is basically, we started in 1975 in Tullytown, came to Falls Township in 1987, built 13,000 square feet. We've added on several times since then, and we're fully built out on our property right now. We're about 105,000 total. And we run 3 shifts, so there's a break in the employees between shifts, but our parking just is not big enough for what we need there. And we're requesting the variance so that we can push our parking lot into that area so that we can park on both sides of the lot instead of one. So any questions you have for me, I'd be glad to answer. You know, if you want to come down and see it personally, take a tour, I'd be glad to take you for a tour. So anything else, you can ask Rachel.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions from the board?
So I'm just hoping you would walk us through the diagram that's up on the screen now, what the changes are. I mean, I'm looking at the aerial view right now of the current, the current parking, and I see that along the bottom layer, there is, I guess you would call it vertical parking. But then right now, I'm just looking at my screen, against the building, there's not vertical parking against the building, there's horizontal.
100% correct.
Okay, and so take me through then what you have marked in red, what the changes are that are going to take you to the requested 75% variance.
Okay, Rachel, would you like to do that?
I do. Rachel Butch, R-A-C-H-E-L, B as in boy, U-T-C-H. Good evening. So as Kyle mentioned, I'm the design engineer with Showalter and Associates, and I prepared this site plan in support of the 2 variances that we're requesting. So, oh, sorry. So I can just explain the site plan quickly. So Newbold Road is there on the bottom, my lane is there on the left, and then on the top of the plan is the railroad. So the building is about 100,000 square feet. Like Kyle said, it's fully built out. The building is, right up on the setbacks, and the parking is difficult right now. So we've looked at a number of scenarios as far as how to relocate the parking, how to restripe it, whether we can angle them, make them parallel. And, we've gone back and forth, and this is what we think is the way to optimize, the ground that we have, the best way to give him, to give Kyle and his employees the most amount of parking. So the red is the area that I'll call the new impervious. So I'll start on the left. So the rectangle on the left is 3 new parking spaces. That's kind of near, there's a stormwater basin on the left side. And then the area that's along thin rectangle along Newbold Road is where we're proposing to expand the parking into the ultimate right-of-way. So as you saw on the aerial, there's 90-degree parking now along that area, but we're looking to just move that 15 feet closer to the road so that we can then have 90-degree parking along the building. And that substantially increases the amount of parking that we can fit in that space. So the variances are both related to that parking and strictly just to that parking. So we're asking to increase the impervious from 70 to 75% and to put the parking 15 feet into the ultimate right-of-way. I'll say the legal right-of-way right now, which is 33 foot wide, which goes right past the existing cartway, and the ultimate right-of-way is 100 feet. So the ultimate right-of-way is not currently deeded to the township, so the legal right-of-way really is only up to the edge of the cartway. So we're not proposing to put the parking in area that's not currently deeded on the property.
So here's my question. So that as you said, the narrow strip at the bottom, that is the extension.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, I can see there's a little bit of landscaping there. I can't quite tell, though, is there any water retention basin or any other water handling there?
So there's no stormwater along that frontage there. There's some landscaping, there's some light poles, but all of the stormwater management on the site is planned left, to the left of that of the parking area.
Understood. And so this extension doesn't really change any of that?
No, it
change
doesn't, no.
Lighting or landscaping or anything?
Right, and we would keep the drainage patterns the same. Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. That's all of my questions.
Matt, is the Newbold Road that's owned by Falls Township? Newbold Road, is that owned by Falls Township? Okay, so part of land development, it'll be reviewed by the traffic engineer? Awesome. State highway? Okay. Has there been any correspondence with PennDOT at this time?
No.
Okay.
No, we're not proposing to do any work within PennDOT's right away. We're not changing the driveways. We're not affecting the site distance or anything.
Okay. That's all I have. Yeah. Any public comment at this time? Anything from the township? Okay.
I'll pull the board. Aaron?
Hold on one second, Nastasia. Yeah, so I would condition that it does get approval from PennDOT if it is within the PennDOT right away, and I would need a motion on that.
I'll second.
Okay, Nastasia, call the board.
Hang on, so we've previously approved this is a land use variance, right? They're not changing the. Yeah, sorry, so I guess, so can you repeat what your stipulation was?
So the condition would be that if it is within the PennDOT right away, that they get approval to extend that parking into the right of way.
Is it extending into the right-of-way?
It's extending into the
The ultimate
township
right-of-way, the
ultimate
township right-of-way.
right-of-way, not the PennDOT legal right-of-way.
Ah, I see that detail now. Okay, thank you, thank you. I didn't understand that. Got it, okay.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Chris. Nastasia, can you call the board?
Aaron,
I'm a yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
and I'm a yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very
Yep.
much.
You'll get a letter in the mail from the township solicitor.
Okay, great, thank
Yep.
Gonna take my thumb drive here.
All right, petition number 2, we have 1900 Pennsylvania Avenue LLC, 1900 South Pennsylvania Avenue, Morrisville, PA 19067, tax map parcel 13047088001, zoned RD3, requesting a use variance to allow boat and motorhome storage on the property. Section 209-32 4C4.
Good evening. Mike McGinnis from Begley Carlin here on behalf of the applicant. May I approach with the certificate of service, and I have some photographs or aerials I'd like to
Sure can.
distribute.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, while Mr. McGinnis is doing that, I can mark these exhibits, we can keep moving. The application for zoning ordinance appeal will be marked as ZHB 1. 2 will be proof that the property was posted, which will be a series of pictures. 3 will be proof of publication in the Bucks County Courier Times showing this matter was published February 25th, and then again March 4th, 2025. 4 will be an aerial view. Yes, aerial view of the property. 4 will be notification. I'm sorry, 5. 5 will be notification to Mr. McGinnis, providing notice of tonight's meeting as required. Mr. McGinnis, I'll mark the certification of service as A1, as long as you have no objection.
No objection.
A2 will be the 2 photographs you just handed up collectively. And then A3 will be the email that was sent for the February 10th meeting requesting an extension of this matter and giving the board an extension to hear this matter. That is all the exhibits. I'm satisfied the appropriate notice have been satisfied. This matter can proceed.
All right, thank you. Good evening. As I said, Mike McGinnis from Begley Carlin here on behalf of the applicant, 1900 Pennsylvania Avenue, LLC. My client is the new owner of the property located at 1900 Pennsylvania Avenue in the township. The property is approximately 3.39 acres, and it is one of, I think, 3 or 4 properties in the township which are still zoned in the RD3 district. As an anecdote, I realized how rare that was. We had proposed a zoning change on behalf of North Point, who owns the adjacent parcel, a couple years ago, and realized I didn't know at the time how rare the RD3 zoning is. If you are unaware, really one of the only principal uses which are permitted in properties zoned in the RD3 are single-family detached residential dwellings, which is not the current nor the proposed future use of this property. This subject parcel is located essentially right outside of the KTC. Even though this property is zoned RD3, the parcel across the street, and then if you go to the south of the site, pretty much everything in that vicinity is zoned HI, heavy industrial. I provided 2 pictures which Mr. Bidleymeyer has marked as A2. One of them is an aerial of the site. It's a couple years old, but it was pulled online from Google Earth, and the other is a street view. So if you're on Pennsylvania Avenue looking into the property, you can see the structure that exists, and then you can see the parking layout. This is, as I indicated, an existing non-conforming property. It currently houses Vanquish Fencing. That is not changing with this application. They are the tenant on this property, and that will remain for the immediate future my client's ownership. What we're here to do is to discuss, again, if you look at, probably easier from the aerial, if you look at the aerial, you'll see that in the property to the left of the structure is about 16 striped spaces. Those spaces are used in conjunction with the operation to the inside of the building. My understanding is there's approximately 4 employees that Vanquish has that utilizes the spaces, so even the striped spaces are significantly overparked in terms of the number that they have. But to the rear, you'll see closer to Biles Creek, there is a portion of the property that has, my understanding, is over time been used to store a variety of vehicles, trailers, trucks. Even in the street view, looking into the site, you can see in the background a number of trucks that are parked to the rear of the property. So when my client acquired the property, Mr. Daniel, who's with me, had moved a couple of his personal, I'll call them personal effects, boats, motorhome, I think 2 trailers to the rear in a manner that's substantially similar, not identical. The picture from the aerials a few years ago, but in a manner that you can see in the aerial. Because those vehicles are not utilized in conjunction with the business that is on site, that is not a permitted use. Vanquish is not utilizing the rear for that storage. So therefore, technically speaking, we need a use variance to keep those vehicles to the rear. We are not proposing, I think it's important to note, we're not proposing a commercial operation. We're not asking to sublease the property and collect, rents to the rear. We're not selling anything. We submitted the application and we volunteered as part of the application to cap the number of, however you want to label it, miscellaneous personal vehicles at no more than 10. We understand that probably the township has had issues with other properties where 5 boats become 10 boats, but 5 boats or trailers or whatever it is end up all of a sudden growing exponentially. So we wanted to volunteer a number so that if Mr. Chiquita's office or code enforcement drove by one day, it was easily enforceable if there were more than the allotted vehicles to the rear. My client can confirm that the tenant on site has no objection to this occurring, and I would suggest that if you look at one of the other items that's useful in the aerial, if you look immediately across the street, it's not something that is out of character with the neighborhood, certainly not as you continue further to the south here. So to summarize, we're here for a use variance, yes. It is, I would submit, fairly small. The site is already oriented. That space is already improved. It's not going to be utilized without this. It is not going to be commercial in operation to the rear. It's not going to be sublet, and we're volunteering a cap associated with it. So if I could have your indulgence, I'll just have very brief testimony from Mr. Daniel and then open it up for any questions the board has.
Good evening.
All right.
Yes, I do. Melvin J. Daniels.
All right. Good evening, Mr. Daniel. Are you in fact the owner of 1900 South Pennsylvania Avenue?
Yes, I am, as of I believe it was the 30th of December.
Okay.
Yes.
So within the last few months.
Yes.
And what do you do professionally?
I'm a dentist.
Okay. And you purchased the property, and I made the representation to the zoning hearing board that Vanquish Fencing is leasing the structure currently. Is that accurate?
Yes, Vanquish has leased it for, from me,
Okay.
with the intention of keeping his business there.
Understood. And I made the representation to the board that they have approximately 4 employees,
I
give or
think,
take?
yes, I think they have 4 to 5 employees, and I think they work Tuesday to Thursday presently.
Okay. And those employees park in the area closer to South
That is
Pennsylvania
correct,
Avenue?
right on the side of the building there.
All right.
In those white lines there.
Okay. And you have, I outlined generally, but maybe I'll let you put it in your own words. What are you looking to store to the rear of the property closer to Biles Creek?
Well, the 2 boats are my son's boats, and one will be going to the shore. I have 2 what you consider 24 to 26-foot cargo trailers or car trailers. We have some older cars and some race cars, and I have a motorhome with the trailer attached that fit into the area. I guess it would be east of the paved area, and just have a couple of. I don't really have any other thing other than the cargo trailers that I would be parking there. But I said that we're not going to be fitting more than 10 in there, and it's just basically for our personal use. My son, myself. Because presently now I have these trailers behind my dental office down in Bristol, and we're prone to floods down there, as anyone knows. And periodically we have to get the motorhome up and out of the basin there, because I back up right next to Penn Community Bank, and that's really what we have. I mean, it's Mr. Don Moore's got that fenced in. It's very secure, and just like the opportunity to park my vehicles in there, and let Mr. Moore, continue to run his business out of there. And
So if I can, the aerial depiction of the site, what you're looking to do is not going to be any more, there's not going to be any more volume or any more onerous than what you see.
no, not
With
at
that.
all. No, not at all.
Okay.
It won't even impinge on the blacktop area. What
Okay.
we're planning to do, use it for our storage.
And as I indicated, and I think you summarized, you're not looking to get approval, so you would volunteer as a condition that for the storage of these items, that this is not going to be a commercial operation?
No.
Okay.
It's just for our stuff, kind of consolidated. We have a couple I have a trailer or 2 at a friend's house, so just put everything in one spot. And we don't use them that frequently, so there's not really going to be any traffic in and out.
And Mr. Moore is aware of this, he has no objection to this?
Yes, no.
occurring?
When I was discussing the purchase of the property, that was my intention to, but then Diane, as I was applying for the CO, I guess, she explained that this was not a condition of the property, and, I said, I'd like to just do the things the right way and, get approval for it, but no, it's not going to be commercialized to
Okay.
any of that. It's just for my personal stuff.
And it's going to be kept?
Oh, it's going to
Nice.
be kept just as nice as it is. I mean, Mr. Moore did a great job with the property. I used to be the First Federal Credit Union, I believe. And even the part, I guess, that goes up to Tyburn Road, I mean, he's got that all manicured, and it's going to be kept the same, I assure you.
Okay, and I guess my last question, you're familiar with the surrounding properties?
Yes.
A lot of them are industrial in nature. You don't see any reason why this would be detrimental or harm any of the surrounding properties, is that correct?
No, not at all. I mean, I've been up and down the road several times, and it's, his property's, very nice, and I intend to keep it that way. I mean, I have some other properties in Bristol with my son, and, we'd like to take care of things.
Okay, I have nothing further at this time.
Thank you. Any questions from the board at this time?
The vehicles that are already on site, are they presently there, or is it just a picture?
No, this picture, I don't know when this picture was taken. I think presently there now, there's just my son's 2 boats.
Okay. And is that a stone area, or is that paved?
Yeah, it's very fine gravel
Okay,
behind that.
okay. Thank you.
Ms. Dash, you have anything? Aaron? Just to reiterate what you read into the record, Mike, and I think it would be beneficial for the zoning hearing board to condition these 3 items. Maximum of 10 vehicles, no subleasing of storage spaces, and then the storage to only be of the rear of the property within the stone area and not within the striped employee parking.
That's fine.
Okay.
Agreed.
Any public comment? And anything from the township?
Nothing from the township.
All right, so I'll need a motion.
So moved, or do you need me to read the whole thing?
Aaron, if you're going to make a motion, if you accept Bob's conditions, you can just incorporate that into your motion.
Yeah.
That could be seconded.
So accepting Bob's conditions, I move that the application 1900 Pennsylvania Avenue LLC requesting a use variance from section 209-32.4.cf of the Falls Township zoning ordinance be granted to allow boat and motor home storage at the property located at 1900 South Pennsylvania Avenue, Morrisville, PA 19067, as depicted on the plans and in accordance with the testimony presented by the zoning hearing board with the stipulations that were already stated.
A motion by Aaron, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Nastasia. Nastasia, can you call the board, please?
Aaron,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
and I'm a yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night. And with that, I will have a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Second by Chris.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.